Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 72 of the In From Japan podcast, the podcast where we talk about the latest news on Japan-developed games and other things in relation to them. Available on YouTube and in most places podcasts can be found. As always, I'm your host, Erroll Moss, with my co-host, the phenomenon from Suriname, Jason Corder.
Hey, hey.
And we don't really have any housekeeping. I guess we're setting up our E3 reactions right now. We'll probably have a couple guests too for that. We're still waiting for the final schedule, but keep an eye on the In From Japan Twitter for updates. It's going to be a fun time. Anywho, we're going to get right into the Japanese games we've been playing. So I've been all over the place.
I can see that.
More EDF World Brothers. Did I talk about how, like, to get to unlock, I don't know if I talked about this last week, but for the characters to use different weapon types, you have to unlock like multiple versions of that same character.
No.
And then their skill goes up.
Huh.
So it depends on if like an alternate version of that character is in your most recent level. Like, skill goes up pretty slowly.
That kind of feels like a cumbersome system.
It is, especially because there's no other way to do it that I know of. But it's not like a hard game, so you might just be switching characters around a bit.
Okay.
I don't know if... I need to see if the characters you rescue in each level are just randomly generated, or if they're just supposed to be in those levels.
I'm sure there's a guide out there that could help you.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how many people are actually playing this.
Well,
but
that is true.
Otherwise, it's fun. It's very much... It's EDF. It's like it's a kind of junk food type game, like a Dynasty Warriors things, where there are like a ton of enemies, and you
get
take
what
them
you
all
paid
down.
for.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have like anything else to say about it.
You're just
that I
having
didn't
fun.
already say.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I've been playing a bit of the first Dragon Quest. I think I'm about almost halfway through. I mean, it's only a 10-hour game. Because I found a walkthrough from last year that like, because my problem before was none of the walkthroughs I found were like very organized very well, or like they were like in an older format that I was like, I don't understand what this person is saying. But like this person did it specifically for the Switch port.
Oh, okay.
And that's the one I'm playing, which I think like people don't like the Switch ports because they're based on the mobile port and they don't look as good.
Yeah.
I think for the first Dragon Quest you can do the Switch or mobile port. Just because it's so like not... Just because the graphics of the first Dragon Quest are just like so old, and it's like it's not as weird that you're fighting a JPEG.
Okay, it's like this is the...
It's a little weirder in like Dragon Quest 3. That's weird.
It's like this is the best they could do given the circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what set you on Dragon Quest 1? Was it the recent Dragon Quest hype?
Yeah, I was like, I should play one. I was thinking I should play 1 and 2 at least before 3 remake comes out. I don't know if I'll play a different the Game Boy Color version of 3 before the remake comes out. I haven't decided yet. I want to see if I can finish 1 and 2 first.
Okay.
I don't really have any thoughts on Dragon Quest 1 except for it could be a good podcast game because it's like you kind of go to one city, do like go through a cave to get an item or something, and then you do some grinding, then you go to another city and like get some new stuff, and then do more grinding to get more powerful stuff, and then you go to another city. It's kind of just like that.
It's like going through the motions JRPG edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I figured it might be a good podcast game. I don't mind the grinding too much. Like, I'll be watching a Twitch stream on the side because I have like the 2 monitor thing.
Yeah.
Or 2 screens. But yeah, there's that. I barely started SMT3 Nocturne. it took me a while to get to the actual battle system because like the map in that game is not good.
Yeah, they kind of barely touched it up for the remaster. It's kind of like an updated up-res port, nothing else really.
Yeah.
So no game.
I like the battle system, but I hate how there's no like waypoint and it's just like go here, and I'm like, I know not all games need that, but like it makes it so not obvious sometimes.
Yeah,
where like you'll just be exploring for way too long.
I mean, for some people it can be annoying that you constantly have like a waypoint dictating where you're supposed to be going, and I'm definitely guilty of that in some cases.
I would like if they at least just put it on the map. I don't need it to be like in my face or anything.
Yeah, but it's something we keep forgetting is that it's also a great accessibility tool, because not everyone is as cognitively equipped to handle and this villager says if you go past the second mountain over the third ridge, you'll find the next village. It's like it's so much information that you can interpret in so many ways, and if you're not facing the right,
that's kind of like what the old Dragon Quest guys were like.
Yeah, which reminds me, it's like I was playing Grandia like ways back, and I was looking up guides because I was kind of lost, and lo and behold, none of them were the guys for the HD remasters. It was like for the Sega Sega Saturn, I want to say, and older. So I was like, oh, these names and items and spells, they do not ring a bell. It's like, okay, I'll figure something out then.
Yeah.
But how are you liking Shimigami?
Like I said, I like the battle system. I haven't recruited any other monsters besides Pixie yet. But I did watch my friend play a little bit, and he was a bit ahead of me when he actually finished it now.
Okay. But how are you liking it compared to Persona?
It's hard to say right now because I'm just still so early in it.
Okay.
I definitely don't like it any better, but I don't like it any less either.
Okay.
Because it's one of those things. I'm just way too early to really have any concrete thoughts on it.
They are also.
And I don't know when I'll get back to it.
They are also kind of different. Where Shin Megami is kind of a darker atmosphere than Persona. But yeah, I guess you'll update us as soon as possible.
Not just that, but Shin Megami Tensei is much more of a monster taming type of game where the monsters are actually in your party rather than kind of connected to
like a JoJo stand,
a person. Yeah. So I tried Super Bomberman R as well. The online one, or Super Mario Bomberman R online. It was not good. It's very.
Did you?
It seems to be very pay to win because it has a lot of the bombers from the original Super Bomberman R, but you have to unlock them with money, or you have to play a ton, and the bombers have different abilities, and some are a lot cheaper than others, like the Castlevania characters with the whips and stuff like that. Like Super Bomberman R, the difference is you already have all those characters unlocked.
Yeah. Are you playing it on Stadia?
So I'm thinking of getting. What? No. I played the Xbox version. I'm thinking of because I actually used to have the original Super Bomberman R for Switch, and I'm thinking of actually picking it up again because I don't know why I didn't keep it. Especially because it's on. I could get it for anything.
Okay.
And it's just so much better than this The Bomberman R Online is just very disappointing. Like a 64-person battle royale Bomberman type thing, where it's all 4-on-4 matches. It's a smart idea. It just wasn't executed very well, I don't think. And again, pay to win with the special abilities.
I could see Nintendo doing the next retro-inspired battle royale and basing it on Bomberman.
Well, Bomberman is owned by Konami.
I mean, they could always strike
and this is already a battle royale. Bomberman 64 battle.
Yeah. In
Bomberman R Online, so I don't think they'd make another one.
Oh well.
Anyways, if you're looking into Super Bomberman R online, it is free. But like I said, if you don't like pay-to-win games, you might as well just get the original Super Bomberman R, which is great. Great game. I also did a raid in Final Fantasy 14.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my friends, we started the Final Fantasy 3, the Crystal Tower stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We did the first one, and oh boy, it's hard to see what's happening when there are 20 people.
Well, the thing is, you just click on the thing you're supposed to click and
No, I know.
avoid AoE stuff,
and
you'll be
the
fine.
nice thing is for that raid, it did separate us into 3 different groups. There would be like Group A, Group B, and Group C, and we'd each go to a different section.
Alliance raids, right?
But when we're all fighting together, it's so hard to tell what's happening.
Well, for me, it was when I was
or it can be, depending on it, like what your class is and what your positioning is.
When I was playing these kinds of raids, it was always confusing because I was the newbie and being carried by like veterans, and you're like, okay, what do I do? And they're like, just stand back and have fun. And I'm like, okay, this sounds ominous. And you're just casting Cure and Raise and whatnot, and it was over in minutes, like within.
Oh, you were a healer?
Yeah, I'm. My main job is a healer, so I don't really.
Oof.
Oof is right. Do you know how much pressure there is on a healer? Because
a lot.
If the healer screws up, the whole party is screwed. So there's that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a tank, so.
But in an alliance raid, it doesn't really matter that much because there are 3 healers, and the other classes also have some curative ability, so it kind of evens out. But yeah, when I was in those parties, it was over within like 20 minutes, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll just sit back and watch the cutscene. This is fun.
One of my friends I play with, he's like a super big Final Fantasy 3 fan, so he was really getting a kick out of like the music and all the different stuff in it, because he wasn't expecting them to really have such big homages to Final Fantasy 3, but it's like Final Fantasy 14 has like big homages to every Final Fantasy mainline game.
Yeah, it's kind of like the multiverse of Final Fantasy, if you will.
Yeah. And then I played a little bit of Monster Hunter Stories mobile version, and I know that this is gonna sound weird, but I almost forgot how much I love that game. Like as I was playing it on stream the other day, I was like, wow, I really like this world and the battle system, and I was just remembering like how good it was, and it made me more excited for 2. Or not more excited, but just like, I don't know, something about that when you go back to a game and then you remember how much you like it, or like, I mean, I know I like it a lot. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I get it. It's like going back to a comfortable space, like putting on a warm blanket, and
although I definitely prefer the movement of the 3DS version.
I don't mind the movement as much, though I'm not familiar with the 3DS version, so you're probably a better.
I'd much rather use the actual stick
analog,
than a screen.
Yeah, I mean, there is some getting used to it, because you can't really get that precise sense of motion, but it's doable.
Yeah, it's manageable. And then because I was wondering how they do all the little mini things that happen that were touchscreen based. And they did change. They changed one thing, where when it says like, press the circles of the same type. That was not in the 3DS version, as far as I remember. There was like, it was more like the spinning or like tapping, like in a Yokai Watch, like that kind of stuff. I don't know if I'll go back to it. maybe like in anticipation for Wings of Ruin, like the week before or something. We'll see.
Yeah, I also need to go back to it because I put a fair amount of time into it, and it's super colorful and fun, and it has an actual story.
I was actually showing my friend Andrew, the person in the Pokemon Snap videos.
Mm-hmm.
I was showing it to him, and he was like, I really like the world of this game. It seems so like that, exactly what you said.
Mm-hmm.
What you just said. And like he's not into like that kind of stuff that much, but he's at least open-minded.
I mean, you don't have to be a hardcore player. Though Monster Hunter proper could be a bit more daunting than migrating from
stories is like more meant for kids, obviously.
Sure, but I mean,
but that doesn't make it that easy of a game because the last boss is really hard.
No, I was getting at the going from one sub-series to the main series. Like, if you go from Pokemon Snap to Pokemon Mainline, it's probably an easier sell than going from stories to Monster Hunter proper. Because if you're not willing to go through all of those layers of menus, you're not gonna have a fun time. Yeah. So, let's see. Is there anything else you've been playing?
No, that was everything.
Oh, okay.
Well, I've been playing Knockout City, but that doesn't count. As much as I would like to talk about how it probably seems like a good game to listen to hype anime music while playing, like Rising Fighting Spirit from Naruto or Yusei Run from My Hero Academia.
I mean, it kind of counts then, I guess. Yeah. Let's see. What have I been playing? With work being what it is, and me not having the most time as I'd like, plus the aftershocks of the first dose of the vaccine, I really did not have enough space to play today, or this week. So
understandable.
I did manage to squeeze in some time for Famicom Detective Club. I kind of want to be done with it. I mostly enjoy it, but the obtuse progression is such an annoying thing. Like, you want to go ahead with the story, but the game prevents you from doing so because you didn't hit the right button prompt, or not button prompt. It's like you didn't choose the correct order of things to say or ask, and there's nothing in the way of a hint system, so you're just left scratching your head. Okay, I guess this murder won't be solved then. Especially the later chapters. I think I mentioned this last week. I'll regularly make use of a guide. Kate Gray has a good one up on Nintendo Life, and that has been a lifesaver. So I'll probably be just using that on an open web page and then steamrolling ahead because it's annoying, but I digress. Still a great game. The music's great. Not the animation really, but the character designs are good. It's not cartoonish. Well, it is an anime art style, but it's not outlandish, I should say, like Danganronpa or the Virtua Escape series. It's very grounded in kind of looking like modern day Japan, I should say. But yeah, that's what I've been playing, and also I got an early access invite to Final Fantasy VII First Soldier on mobile devices, and I'm not a what do you call these games again? Battle Royale player on mobile. I've played Fortnite and Call of Duty Blackout on
consoles. Warzone?
not Warzone. I never got into Warzone actually. But I have played battle royale games on consoles and enjoyed them quite a bit. But I just can't. I can't really get the controls right on mobile. They just don't feel good because it's very fast paced where you have to aim and shoot, and then because you don't have any tactile buttons, you have to like lift your finger and then go for the shoot button away from looking around. And I mean, if you're doing the claw grip, maybe you could be doing multiple things at once, but I unfortunately am not that kind of superhuman. The game itself is interesting. It's a Final Fantasy Battle Royale. You play in, is it Sector 7, Midgar? It's not that different from like Fortnite or PUBG or Warzone. It's you have your firearms, you have a Buster Blade. And there are monsters on the map you have to engage with from time to time. But it's fine-ish. Maybe I should put in some more matches because I only did the tutorial one, and I'm not really feeling it. But I guess I'll see. I think it runs until mid-June, I want to say. So I still have some time to try it out, and maybe I'll come away a little more impressed next week. But we'll see.
All right. We're moving on to the In From Japan J-List, recent video game related entertainment news. First up, we have Getter Robo Arc Anime's video previews Jam Project opening reveals July 4th debut. This is from Rafael Antonio Pineda for Anime News Network. The official website for the television anime of Getter Robo Arc, the last manga in the iconic Getter Robo Super Robot manga series by Ken Ishikawa, began streaming a new promotional video for the anime on Friday. The video previews the anime's opening theme song Bloodlines Unmei no Keto Fated Lineage by Jam Project and reveals the anime's July 4th premiere date on ATX, Tokyo MX, BS Sky Pearl, and BS11. The anime will premiere on ATX on that day at 9 p.m., 8 a.m. Eastern Time. But there's a lot of other information. The manga story centers on the conflict against the Andromeda country, the new enemy of humanity that seeks to destroy the source of the Getter rays that has devastated its civilization. Hope rests on the titular Getter Robo Getter. I said that right?
Yeah.
Getter Robo Arc Robot, but the appearance of another mysterious Getter robot piloted by the son of Ryomo Nagare introduces another complication to the conflict. Ishikawa ran the manga in Futabasha's Super Robot magazine beginning in 2002, and it remains unfinished after Ishikawa's death in 2006. Futabasha published 3 compiled book volumes for the manga. Ken Ishikawa and Go Nagai, who created Devilman, I believe, created the Getter Robo manga, often considered one of the most iconic Super Robot manga series alongside Nagai's own Mazinger Z. Ishikawa wrote 3 sequels, of which Getter Robo Arc was the last, and the franchise spawned numerous spin-off manga and anime adaptations. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I've never seen a Getter Robo thing before, but I like Super Robot stuff.
Yeah. More mecha.
Speaking of which, Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway movie will release in Japan next week. This is by Kai Stenbuck for Siliconera. Sunrise has announced a new release date for the Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway movie. After multiple delays caused by the pandemic, the new Gundam movie will finally be available in Japanese theaters on June 11, 2021. This is a movie adaptation of the Hathaway's Flash novel. It tells the story of Hathaway Noah, the son of Bright Noah, who would stage an uprising against the Earth Federation as Mafti Navwe Erin in Universal Century 105. This even takes place 12 years after the... Oh, this event takes place 12 years after the events of Char's counterattack. Yeah, I don't need any of the other stuff. And the next story... Oh, so the original Gundam films, the trilogy, the compilation films for the original Gundam series, they will be on Netflix on June 18th.
Yeah. And also in related Gundam news, there is a sequel project regarding Gundam Seed in the works. Or
we have news about part of that a little later.
Yeah. And it's going to be consisting of, I think, a sequel movie, a video game, and some other stuff. A movie,
a game, and a manga.
Yeah.
There's also the new English subtitled international trailer of Mamoru Hosoda's next movie, Bell, has been released as well. Looks good, as all of Hosoda's movies do.
I still have to see Mirai.
Yeah, I never I own Mirai, and I haven't actually finished it. It was like kind of really trippy. Yeah, I don't know.
Watch for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna switch these two stories. So Gridman, the original Hyper Agent Gridman with English subtitles, getting a Blu-ray on August 17th. You can pre-order it on Amazon, and yes, I already did.
Oh, of course you did.
Now we just need a Blu-ray release of Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, and we'll be good. Which is the English adaptation of Gridman. Or the American adaptation of Gridman, rather.
I'd wish for other stuff, but the Eureka 7 sequel series has taught me never to wish for sequel series. And, it's just very difficult keeping up with seasonal anime as it is. I'm just happy with whatever comes out, and I hope the animation studios give the animators proper time and pay.
So I learned something funny. So have you ever seen Boy Meets World?
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen all of it? Because these past 3 weeks I'd watched through pretty much most of the series.
I think I've seen most, if not all of it.
Okay, so the college years where the guy who plays Jack, right? He a couple years before he was in Boy Meets World, he was the main character in Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You mean Matthew Lawrence?
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, pretty funny. And last on the J list, Godzilla vs. Kong film earns US 97.76 million US dollars in US. Demon Slayer film earns 45.95 million. Box Office Mojo reported on Monday that the Godzilla vs. Kong... Oh, this is by Adriana Hazra for Anime News Network. Box Office Mojo reported on Monday that the Godzilla vs. Kong film earned an estimated $885,000 at the United States box office last weekend, and has now earned an estimated 97 million 700 or 90 97 million. Wait. 97 million 765 73 over 97 million.
A lot of numbers.
Okay, it's a long number. Yeah. The film ranked at number 6 in its 9th weekend. Additionally, Box Office Mojo reported that Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie Mugen Train film, earned an estimated $837,000 in its 6th weekend in the United States to rank at number 7. The film has earned an estimated US 45 million, nearly 50 million. 45,958,000 in the United States. This is more stuff about money. Number 2, Demon Slayer is the number 2 highest earning anime film ever at the U.S. box office. With the first just being Pokemon the first movie, I believe.
Oh.
And I don't think I don't know if anything's ever gonna beat that.
Well, Pokemon is not for nothing the most profitable media franchise ever, so.
And back then, it was like at the height of its popularity.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it was just everywhere. That was back when movies came out on theaters on Wednesdays more often. It was weird. I remember going to see it.
The good old days.
Yeah. Next is recommended content. Content other than news from the past week listed out. Links in the description. So we have It's Okay to Be Hyped for E3 by Arlo over on YouTube. Tales of Djungarian Hamster Makes You Collect Weird Hamsters by Jenni Lada for Siliconera. I forgot to pick that game up.
That sounds like a U game.
We have How an Aspiring Actor Accidentally Became Resident Evil's Lady Dimitrescu. Oh, whoops, I skipped one.
Yeah.
By Patrick Klepek for Vice. We also have Dark Souls Helped My Mental Health, But I Don't Know Why by Chris Morris for GameSpot. We have Mike Toole Presents A Crash Course in Godzilla Cartoons by Mike Toole, obviously, for Anime News Network. We have Preview What's Old is New Again in Samurai Warriors 5 by Graham Russell for Siliconera. This was the only Samurai Warriors 5 preview that I saw pop up.
Yeah. Most people just skipped it, I guess.
We have Neo, The World Ends With You is Cool as Hell and Cheesy in a Good Way by Michael Hyam for GameSpot. There's a handful of World Ends With You and Neo World Ends With You and Mario Golf Super Rush previews. I couldn't choose which Mario Golf one to do, so you could just Google search them or something. Essay, Berserk's Journey of Acceptance Over 30 Years of Fandom by Peter Fobian for Crunchyroll. And Sailor Moon Eternal Review, all the iconic notes but still feel short by Kate Sanchez. I can't talk today. Next up is time for the news rundown, and I would let the bearer of bad news and Shinigami take it away, but we have some breaking news right now.
Oh.
As of the Twitter of Stealth, Yuji Naka, and somebody else noticed it as well. Yuji Naka no longer works at Square Enix.
Woof.
As of April 30th.
Well, Well, I saw Stealth tweet about it, but I don't know if it's official yet.
No, they just people were checking his Facebook, Yuji Naka's official Facebook.
Okay.
Page.
It's unfortunate if that's true. He did say that should Balan Underworld should
Balan Underworld, that's what it is now.
Should Balan Wonderworld underperform, then it would most likely be his last game.
What happened with that game? Just the development of that game is probably
it's probably that they had deadlines to hit. It's a pandemic. They needed something to start the cash flow, and maybe the staff being so scattered around the world due to the pandemic, they couldn't really fix it in time with a delay in mind. So they just figured it's best to cut our losses, publish it now, and then recoup some of the costs, then sink more money into it, and then have it lose more money in the long run if it's not the game we thought it would be. But that's just speculation. We really don't know, and we're unlikely to know because Japanese game development is very tight-lipped unless the people involved are willing to divulge the details. So I don't think we'll know anytime soon, but it's unfortunate.
Yeah. But now I'll actually let you, the Shinigami, take it away.
The regular bad news.
Bankai.
Bankai. First up, we have Japanese government extends state of emergency to June 20th in 9 prefectures.
I'll be right back. I need to refill my water.
Sure. This is by Rafael Antonio Pineda for Anime News Network. The Japanese government announced on Friday that it will extend the state of emergency in Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Hyogo, Aichi, Fukuoka, Hokkaido, Okayama, and Fukushima to June 20th after its advisory panel approved the plan earlier in the day. The 9 above prefectures were originally scheduled to end their respective state of emergencies on May 31st. Economy Minister and COVID-19 government response head Yasutoshi Nishimura highlighted the worsening strain in prefectural hospital systems and a national healthcare system due to continued high infection rates, with around 1,400 patients in Japan in serious condition. The International Olympic Committee and the Tokyo government still intend to hold the Tokyo Olympics, which was already delayed from last year and rescheduled to July 23rd through August 8th this year. Despite calls from over the majority of Japanese citizens polled and people outside Japan to cancel the games, a fully vaccinated Australian national softball team consisting of 30 athletes and staff will be the first Olympic athletes to arrive in Japan on June 1st, setting up a training camp in Gunma.
Yeah, a lot of people in Japan are against this. Like like I said, the majority of people in Japan.
I think it was like 80%.
Yeah,
something high like that. And yeah, they're not doing so hot on the COVID recovery.
And I was talking to my friend who lives over there. She said her grandparents were just able to get vaccinated recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw a video of
their rollout has not been great.
Raina Scully, formerly of SourceFed and Crunchyroll. She had to book a flight to America to get vaccinated because the rollout in Japan is taking too long. Yeah. So there's that. It's unfortunate. Yeah. Next up is Resident Evil Village producer Peter Fabiano leaves Capcom after 13 years. Fabiano has moved on to a new role at Destiny developer Bungie. This is by Vicky Blake for Eurogamer. Resident Evil Village producer and global production at Capcom Japan founder Peter Fabiano has left the company after 13 years. Hard to write this best, so I've decided to keep it simple. Thank you everyone at Capcom for allowing me to grow together with you over the past 13 years, they explained in a tweet over the weekend. I'm thankful and will cherish the experience forever. Thanks to everyone, both in and outside the studio, that have supported me over the years. End quote. That said, Fabiano isn't leaving the industry entirely. Fabiano has now taken up a position at Bungie, working with some great people and continuing their journey as production department manager, seemingly, on Destiny, given the farewell tweet ends on Eyes Up Guardian. So that's it's not necessarily bad, it's more kind of like a moving on.
It's the ish.
I guess. But him going to Bungie is kind of surprising, because I wondered if that means going forward Destiny is going to have a bigger focus on narrative, and
it's going to have more horror elements.
Well, with the Witch Queen being the next big expansion for Destiny, it's probably safe to say there will be some more horror elements, or at least cosmic horror. I definitely
should play a little more Destiny. There's just so much lore, and like, I don't have that many people. I have some people who like do play it that I can play with, but like they don't play it that often either. So it's kind of like, well,
you can play it, and if you ever want to look up the lore, just pop on a video by Bife, who is basically the lore daddy for Destiny. And he has some great summaries on the plots from Destiny 1 through 2 and beyond even. So if you really need to be caught up on what's happening in the story, you can always watch that. And Byth has such a great presentation that it doesn't feel like an info dump. He puts actual effort in the presentation of the story and the storytelling, and it's all wonderful. So I highly recommend that if you want to get caught up on the story. Next up is King of Fighters 15. Like, I read KOF.
Cough
No.
XV.
No, I read KOF, like KOF, and I was like, kind of funny 15. It's like, I'm not aware. King of Fighters 15.
No, because it's kind of funny.
Yeah. King of Fighters 15 delayed until next year. This is by Jenni Lada for Siliconera. Since the King of Fighters 15 announcement, SNK stated it would appear in 2021. However, that won't be happening. KOF 15 ended up delayed as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The new release window is now the first quarter of 2022. And you can click on the article for a full breakdown and the full statement. I mean, they did say as much last year that games slated for 2020 were mostly set to come out in 2020, but games set for 2021 were probably looking to be delayed to later years because logistics-wise and adapting to pandemic scenarios is not the easiest. So there's that.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm still conflicted about KOF because
of the stuff, the SNK stuff.
Yeah, because of who owns SNK. If you don't know, Google it because it's a trip. Yeah, it looks good though. I'll say that the developers who poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into making this thing deserve commendation solely for that. But everything beyond, it's like, okay. Okay, moving on to the other news. Relay launches simultaneously worldwide in 2021. First trailer details and screenshots. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu. Relayer, the new age space opera strategy RPG from Kadokawa Games' God Wars development team, will launch both physically and digitally for PS5 and PS4 simultaneously in North America, Europe, Japan, and Asia in 2021. Distributor Clouded Leopard Entertainment announced it will support English and Japanese voiceovers with English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Japanese, traditional Chinese, and Korean subtitle options. You can click on the article for a full breakdown of the features and some trailers. For those unaware, it's a mech action game. So like a mecha action game, more mecha than mech. Because if you say mech, it sounds kind of like Western, and mecha is indicative of like Gundam and Neo Genesis.
Yeah, I guess what you mean. Yeah.
Speaking of mecha, like Gundam and Neo Genesis, new Mobile Suit Gundam Seed game in development. This is by Sal Romano from Komatsu. Bandai Namco Group has announced Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Project Ignited, a project to implement various Mobile Suit Gundam Seed series measures around the world, including the development of a new game. Well, they just list what the whole endeavor is supposed to entail. There will be a movie, a life-size Gundam Freedom statue, Gundam Dogs at Shanghai. I'm really curious as to what that looks like.
What?
Gundam Dogs at Shanghai, the first major Gundam event in China, will be held at Mitsui Shopping Park, Lalaport, Shanghai Jingqiao. Experience Gundam history and anime, try out Gunpla, and purchase event exclusive items. So it's kind of like an expo, I guess. Project number 4 is a new game in development. Details will be announced in the later point in time, and there will be a new manga series starting in July. So yeah.
Next to me.
I personally like Gundam Seed. I know the sequel series is kind of like...
Yeah, people really don't like Seed Destiny, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, most people don't have a problem with the first series. It's the sequel series that people are like, why? Anyway, next up, Bloodstain Ritual of the Night sequel in development. Further details not announced. This is by Saruman for Gamatsu once again. A sequel to Bloodstain Ritual of the Night is currently in development according to publisher 505 Games. In its fiscal year 2020-2021 Q3 results presentation, the publisher lists the following notes for the Metroidvania game. Latest creation of Koji Igarashi, former series producer of the Castlevania franchise. Worldwide publishing rights on PC and all console formats. High Metacritic score, average 81. Wait, what? Like, is that a they're predicting that it will be that?
I guess.
30.2 million euros, pounds. Life-to-date revenues, more than 1 million copies sold. Expected lifetime revenues of at least 30 million. Second version in development. Oh, okay. So it was about the first Ritual of the Night, and then
Okay.
it was just a note. It should be noted that while second version is an unusual term for a sequel, it is also used for the Ghost Runner section of the presentation, which already has an announced sequel. Hopefully it's good. I thought the first one was alright. But that's just because I think I prefer the older style Castlevania to the... I prefer like the...
Classic NES Castlevania over the Symphony of the Night.
Symphony of the Night stuff. Although I did really like what I played of Symphony of the Night.
Huh.
Like, Bloodstained is no Symphony of the Night.
No. That is true.
Next up, Yakuza 0 will come to Amazon Luna in June 2021. This is by Jenni Lada for Siliconera. Amazon announced its game streaming service will get the first quote unquote entry in one of Sega's series soon. Yakuza 0 will show up in the Amazon Luna catalog on June 24th, 2021. This will be the first Yakuza game on the service. However, plenty of Sega games are already available to play there. As a reminder, Yakuza 0 is set during the 1980s. People follow both Kazuma Kiryu and Goro Majima in their use. This is before both were firmly established as the legendary Dragon of Dojima and Mad Dog of Shimano. People will go through each one's respective storylines as they deal with controversies within the criminal underworld. It'll be one of 3 games joining Amazon Luna in 2021. In June 2021, The Falconeer and Killer Queen Black will also debut on Luna Plus that month alongside it.
I have to ask.
Then there's quite a few Sega games on Luna already. Sonic Mania Plus, Team Sonic Racing, and 2 Point Hospital.
I have to ask. How come Yakuza 0 is coming to Amazon Luna, but is still not on Switch? What gives?
I mean, there's no Yakuza game on Switch.
I know, but Yakuza 0, it feels like it would fit on Switch, and the engine doesn't seem as taxing as it would be for the tiny console. But Yakuza,
hey, maybe it'll be a Switch Pro announcement.
Probably.
The Yakuza series makes its debut on the Nintendo Switch Pro or the Super Switch or the Virtual Switch, whatever they want to call it.
Virtual Switch. I mean, possible.
Switch Advance. I don't know. Switch Cube.
No, don't. I saw someone tweet today. What did
Switch
they call
U.
it? Yeah, Switch U. It's like, oh no, don't put it out there because you know Nintendo's crazy enough to actually use it.
I just don't want them to call it the new Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, because that's gonna get
But
old
unfortunately,
real fast.
because they made new Pokemon Snap, so I'm not confident that they won't call it the new Nintendo Switch.
Like they haven't learned their lesson yet. We'll see. We'll see. Next up, we have Tales of Arise Scenario explains the Dana and Arena conflict. This is by Kazuma Hashimoto for Siliconera. Bandai Namco shared more information regarding the scenario in Tales of Arise. This included a detailed synopsis of both the Dana and Rena people, and how Dana's world came to be. Additionally, Bandai Namco released details regarding a few smaller areas shown in previous trailers. Shout out to 4Gamer. Tales of Arise story will revolve around the conflict between the Dana and Rena people. The world of Dana was once full of greenery and nature. However, when the Rena people arrived roughly 300 years ago, that changed everything. Now the Dana live under the rule of the Rena people who have destroyed their land and their culture. You can click on the article for a full breakdown of this. It kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy XIII's Pulse versus Cocoon thing, which was immediately apparent to me when I watched the first trailer last year, I want to say, or 2 years ago.
What?
The announcement trailer for Tales of Arise. They said something about two worlds being separated by ideology and wars and whatnot, and one feeding off the other, and that immediately let me think of the Pulse Cocoon thing from Final Fantasy 13.
I haven't played that yet.
Oh, that makes sense.
I just didn't know what game you were I didn't hear the Final Fantasy 14. I heard Pulse Cocoon, and I was like, what?
Yeah, it's Final Fantasy 13. If you ever play that game, you will hear a lot of proper nouns.
I'm just waiting to see if they announce like a remastered trilogy or something.
I mean,
so I'm not pulling. Or I'm not.
If you play it on PC, it's like 60 FPS, so that's probably the best you'll be getting.
No, I mean that's why I haven't pulled the trigger on the other two games.
Oh,
why I'm waiting. Yeah,
the games still look good to this day, so I don't.
That's not the. No, I'm just wondering if there's going to be a collection, because like I prefer physical, especially when it's like a remaster type thing.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. So you think? I mean, you were already interested in this game. Does this make you more interested, or was it just like, oh well, it seems like a Tales game?
Yeah, the two worlds thing is a very classic Tales thing. Like Tetheala Silveron from Symphonia, and like the in some games there's some time travel shenanigans, so two worlds in some sense. Maybe I still have to see the execution before making a real judgment on this. It seems like an interesting premise. It's been done before, as I said, in Final Fantasy 13, but we'll see.
Yeah. I'm still excited for it. I'm sure we'll see some Bandai Namco, or not Bandai Namco. I'm sure we'll see some info on it at the Xbox and Bandai Namco presentations at E3.
Probably.
Could be a Game Pass game. Who knows? Next up, Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis launches on June 9th. Choose your universe, create your identity. This is by Sawamото for Gamatsu once again. Phantasy Star Online 2 will launch worldwide on June 9th, Sega announced. In North America, Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis will be available for Xbox One and PC. In Japan, it will be available for PlayStation 4, PC, and the cloud for Switch and PC. And there's an overview of the game, and we've gone over this plenty of times. And there's still the character creator that you can check out. The character creator and the, what was it called? The benchmark test. To make sure your computer can run it. I'm excited. It comes out at a really weird time, though.
That's true.
Kind of wish it was after E3, but then it's like, at this point, we knew it was going to be June for a while. And it's like, all right, we got like Scarlet Nexus and Mario Golf Super Rush at the end of June. We got not really many Japan developed games that I know of at the beginning of June. But we do have Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which is probably going to be a big one, a big release. So it kind of comes out at a bit of a weird time. Comes out 2 days before Ratchet and Clank. But hopefully a lot of people try it out. It is free after all. That's the other thing. This is a free game and it looks great.
I might try it, but then today they dropped the trailer for Palpia, and I'm like, oh no, a cozy farming community simulator MMO.
That one's not going to be out for a while though.
Yeah,
right?
that is true. That is true.
Yeah. So you have time. Next up, Little Witch Academia VR Broom Racing for PlayStation VR, Oculus Rift, and Steam VR launches on July 15th. Currently available for Oculus Quest. This is by Sal Romano for Gamatsu once again. Little Witch Academia VR Broom Racing will launch for PlayStation VR, Oculus Rift, and Steam VR on July 15th. Developer Universe announced. It will cost $39.99 for PlayStation VR and $29.99 for Oculus Rift and Steam VR. Why is it... Are games usually cheaper on the Rift and Steam VR?
They might be subsidized, kind of, and that's why. I have no idea.
It supports both English and Japanese voiceovers and subtitles. Oh, so they got the English. That's interesting. The game, based on the hit anime series by Studio Trigger, first launched for Oculus Quest in October 2020. Well, I guess I have to get a VR thing now.
You don't have to.
No, I'm joking. I liked Little Witch Academia, but
Wait,
you know what Studio Trigger anime I liked a lot more, and we're probably not going to get a VR game of that.
Kill la Kill.
I mean, I did like Kill la Kill more, but no,
joking.
No.
I know.
If there was a Gridman VR game, I'd be like, oh, gotta get that VR headset now.
I mean, piloting a mech. Who wouldn't?
Gridman is not a mech.
I mean, if you were to be controlling Gridman in a game, it would probably
be very mech-like, yes.
Yeah.
Next
right. Up is Nintendo wins lawsuit against piracy site for $2.1 million. This is by Kenneth Shepard for Fanbyte. By the way, Kenneth Shepard put out some fantastic Mass Effect content recently, so check that out.
He also wrote about Raichu a lot. He wrote about and that was great.
Yeah. But to continue, back in 2019, Nintendo filed a lawsuit against pirating site ROM Universe on the basis that it was profiting on copyright infringement by selling premium accounts to the site to access thousands of game ROMs. Movies, ISOs, and ebooks. So I'm kind of getting the gist that don't sell them and they won't sue you, but
right? So maybe just don't do that.
This included games from Nintendo platforms such as the Switch, Wii, 3DS, DS, and Game Boy Advance. Site operator Matthew Storman refused to shut down and defended himself in court without an attorney. I mean, I gotta admire the courage and willingness to refuse Nintendo's ninja lawyers and say you're going to defend yourself in court. That's some next level brave right there. Like, he went full Leroy Jenkins in a lawsuit. But the whole thing didn't work in his favor. Surprise, surprise. And ROM Universe was shut down in the summer of 2020. The court case has officially ruled in Nintendo's favors to the tune of $2 million in damages. Yowza. I just had to add the yowza.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's a lot of money.
Moral of the story is don't profit off of illegal ROMs. It's fine if they're free.
Yeah, don't do
mark?
that. I don't know. I don't know if we should say that.
I mean,
depending on circumstances.
Yeah, it's a legal gray area when it comes to ROMs. Like, if you own the physical or digital copy of something, then it's technically legal to have a unverified copy, but in other cases it's super illegal. But then again,
the whole thing is just kind of odd.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a thing that happened.
But the bravery on this guy. Next up is
seriously.
Nintendo Switch sales exceed over 20 million units in Japan. This is by Kazuma Hashimoto for Siliconera. Nintendo Switch sales have exceeded over 20 million units in Japan. Famitsu revealed this information and stated that it was aggregated from the release of the Nintendo Switch in 2017 to June 2nd, 2021. So from June, I want to say June 2017. Let's just say 2017 till 2021. Additionally, Famitsu provided the top 5 best-selling Nintendo Switch games in Japan as part of this report. Shout out to Famitsu. These numbers purely reflect domestic sales for the Nintendo Switch and are only applicable to Japan. Previously, in financial reports from Nintendo, the company revealed that the console had shipped approximately 84.59 million units worldwide. The number increased significantly from a previous report in November of 2020. That report revealed that Nintendo Switch sales had reached roughly 60 million units worldwide. So the top 5 games, as mentioned, are Animal Crossing New Horizons at 6.7 million units, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at 4.2 million units, Pokemon Sword and Shield at 4.1 million units, Splatoon 2 at 3.8 million units, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 3.84 million units.
That's a lot of units.
Yeah, so we're never getting Mario Kart 9 anytime soon.
Don't say that. Hey, don't say that.
Well, anytime soon.
A lot of people are tired of racing those same tracks over and over again, man.
Then play Crash.
Not me. I don't own Mario Kart. Not everybody has a PlayStation. Or wait, that's on Nitro Kart is on everything, isn't it? Oh.
Well, there you go.
But it's not Mario. The argument that they'll have is it's not Mario Kart.
Well, look.
Even though it is Mario Kart.
The thing is, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is selling exceedingly well still. There's no financial incentive to release Mario Kart 9.
And there's also the Mario Kart what is it called?
Mobile game?
Tour or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. It is nice to see Animal Crossing beating expectations and becoming such a juggernaut. And it's such an amazing feat. But yeah, those are the sales figures. Next up is Monarch is the new RPG from former Shin Megami Tensei staff. This is by Kazuma Hashimoto for Siliconera. The new RPG from former Shin Megami Tensei staff is officially titled Monarch. Information regarding the title had been previously released, though details were scarce. This mostly included some hints as to who could potentially be working on the title outside of the confirmation that former Shin Megami Tensei staff members were part of the team. While a full reveal of the upcoming RPG is on the way, an official website for Monarch is now live. The official website itself is fairly mysterious. Several names of development staff and voice actors are partially obscured. Additionally, a timer ticks down in the background, counting down to the official reveal of the game. One final detail of minor importance is a phone number on the website. This phone number is actually a working number, which you can call to hear a voice message. The voice message that plays is a cryptic one, okay? Some kind of struggle and a scream can be heard during the first few moments, which is then followed up by a voice line. The line roughly translates to, "At last, I have been waiting for you, my foolish, foolish children." In order to access the voice message, you will need to have international calling booked on your phone plan if you want to hear it for yourself. Yeah, I don't want to be terrified in my own room by a mysterious voice. Nah. That's why I have true crime podcasts to listen to. But with regards to the game itself, I'm cautiously optimistic because the last time a spin-off team, like not really a spin-off team, but ex-developers from Persona / Shin Megami Tensei made a school RPG. It was the Caligula Effect, so but then again, the Caligula Effect got a remaster, an anime series, and a sequel, so who am I to judge? Big sigh. But I guess we should be hopeful. Good. It could be good.
Yeah.
Could not be good, but let's hope it's good.
We'll see. It's probably still pretty early on in development.
Yeah.
Probably won't see it for a while. Anyways, next up. This comes from, weirdly enough, this comes from Twitter. This is actually the wrong link.
Oh no.
So basically, somebody asked about Pokemon cards, and the Ask Target Twitter said that they would be... Hang on. Let me find an actual news story. I'm sure somebody reported it. Target reserve... Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me see if I can get somebody who's... Okay, GameSpot. Here we go. Select Pokemon cards will be back for sale at Target this week. This is by Jessica Howard for GameSpot. After being pulled off the shelves nearly a month ago, Target is resuming the sale of Pokemon trading cards this week. The announcement was made June 2nd via tweet posted by the official Ask Target Twitter account, which stated, "Select cards will now be sold 7 days per week and will have a limit of 2 items per guest per day. However, what select cards mean and when the sales will officially resume is yet to be confirmed." The policy reversal comes after nearly all trading card sales were temporarily suspended back on May 14th due to rising safety concerns for both Target's guests and team members. These concerns emerged after a massive surge in the card game's popularity earlier this year, resulted in an influx in buyers, scalpers, and reported clashes between the two. As of publishing, Target has yet to release an official statement on this policy reversal, leaving us unsure why the policy has been reversed, what select card entails, and if the policy is nationwide or limited to select locations. In addition, there has been no news on whether MLB, NFL, and NBA cards will also be available for purchase once again. So, my local Target did still have sports cards. My local Target Express. And of course, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering had still been there. When the Pokemon cards went away, they put out some Digimon cards. So I made sure to get a pack, and I'm glad I did, because after the next time I went, they didn't have them anymore.
Oh no.
But they've been kind of hard to come by, apparently. And it's not necessarily because people are buying them. I think it might be because not that many places are selling them. But yeah, I got some Digimon cards. I did do an unboxing, but the video didn't really turn out right.
Okay.
So I couldn't upload it. But yeah, at least the kids who are collecting Pokemon cards and playing with Pokemon cards are allowed to get them again. I don't really care much for the scalpers and buyers and all the adults of getting Pokemon cards, you know.
I mean, if you order it online anonymously, they won't know if you're an adult.
We won't be ordering it anonymously, but yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Next up, head of PlayStation Studios states that Japanese talent is still important to Sony. This is by Kazuma Hashimoto for Siliconera. In a recent interview with Herman Hulst, the head of PlayStation Studios, he revealed that Sony still values Japanese talent and Japanese games. The interview itself details what Sony Interactive Entertainment has planned for the future of PlayStation. This includes discussion surrounding the narrative-focused single-player games and the number of titles in development at PlayStation Studios. However, the statement regarding Sony still valuing Japanese talent and games comes after several major developers leaving Sony Interactive or left Sony Interactive Entertainment, one of which was Keiichiro Toyama, creator of the Silent Hill and Siren series. He then went on to create his own studio, which is currently working on an unannounced horror title. However, Toyama was not the only one to leave SIE Japan. In March 2021, Bloodborne executive producer Masami Yamamoto announced his departure from the studio. In the interview, Hull states that Japan and Asia are strongly associated with our legacy, the success of Sony, and that with the creation of Team Asobi, the company hopes to create more franchises with global appeal. Hulst also mentions that he is excited about the future of PlayStation games from Japan and Asia. Specifically, he mentions the quality and innovation of titles coming from the region. However, he does not elaborate any further in the interview. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think the and Asia part is kind of telling, because you know how there's like the what's it called? The China program. What is it called? Whatever the game development program that Sony's doing in China is with the Lost Soul Aside and all that.
Mm-hmm. They're probably like motivating other Asian territories to develop more, and we're seeing like excellent stuff coming from Indonesia. Some developers springing up from India.
Probably South Korea, I'm sure.
South Korea as well. So Asian developed games aren't necessarily relegated to Japan only, and that's also a good thing that there's more of a spotlight on the other territories, but we also still want the assurance that the developers we've known to love and the talent that we know that's still there gets fostered and nurtured, and that people aren't forgotten, that they can still make weird one-off experiences. But then you have cases like Balan Wonderworld and you're like, maybe they're onto something. So we'll see. We're hoping for the best.
And there's a little more on that. We have Sony's growing Astro's Playroom developer Team Asobi. This is by Eurogamer by Wesley Yunpool. Sony is growing Team Asobi, the developer of the wonderful PlayStation 5 packing game Astro's Playroom. In a post on the PlayStation blog, Nicolas Doucet, it's Doucet. Studio director and creative director at the Tokyo-based studio said Team Asobi is now spreading its wings and growing bigger. This is a very exciting time for the team, and we are very much looking forward to the next chapter, Doucet continued. Sony's support of Team Asobi comes following a restructure of Sony's Japan studio, and after a staff exodus that has seen Gravity Rush and... okay, so it's a lot of the same... Yeah, it has the whole Herman Hull stuff again, but they have a new logo as well. Team Asobi does. They have like a rainbow logo. Team Asobi still makes good stuff, so like I'm excited to see what else is from them when they make non-Astrobot stuff. Astrobot is great. I just want to see them experiment with some other genres.
The reception to Astrobot's Rescue Mission and VR experience
and Playroom
has been good so far, so maybe they're working on a full fat Astrobot adventure platformer, or it could be that they're like putting their talents and knowledge into a whole new game, new IP. But they are a talented bunch, so I expect good things from them. Fun fact, Asobi is derived from the Japanese word asobu, if I'm not mistaken. That means to play. So it's really fitting that they're within the PlayStation brand.
Yeah. Next up, Blaster Master Zero Trilogy trailer reveals the Japanese voice cast. This is by Kite Stenbuck for Siliconera. Indie Creates has published a new trailer showcasing the Japanese voice cast for Blaster Master Zero Trilogy. It lets you listen to voice clips of key characters from all 3 games, including new characters in the upcoming final game, Blaster Master Zero 3. The physical trilogy compilation will add Japanese voice acting to the story cutscenes. The new voiceovers will also apply to the first 2 games in the collection. The series protagonist, Jason Frudnick, that's an interesting, and the heroine, Eve, will be voiced by Kensho Ono and Tamako Miyazaki. The trailer also included Jennifer and Kane Gardner, the Metafight characters who will make their actual appearances in Blaster Master Zero 3. They will be voiced by Nozomi Yamamoto, who also provided system voices for the Sophia 3 tank and the storyline narrators Satoshi Hino. Integrates revealed Blaster Master Zero Trilogy on the same day it announced Blaster Master Zero 3 at New Games Plus Expo 2021. It will let you play all 3 games in a single physical package. The games are also available digitally on PC and console storefronts, although the first 2 games did not have voiceovers on the cutscenes. The trilogy will be available physically for the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch at the same time Blaster Master Zero 3 comes out on July 29, 2021. The English product page lists a price tag of $53.99. Pre-ordering the physical copy in Southeast Asia will also let you obtain a mask cover and a paper craft of the Sophia 3 tank. Limited Run Games will also release standalone physical editions of Blaster Master Zero 3 for the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. It will open the pre-orders from June 4th, 2021 to July 11th, 2021. So I'm hoping, I'm not into Blaster Master, but I'm hoping we can get a Gunvolt, like a full collection. I know we have the Striker pack.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping we get a full collection with all of them, including Luminous Avenger X.
I mean, it's bound to happen, I want to say, because there are so many Gunvolt games at this point. I guess we'll see.
Next up, E3 2021 Awards Show set for June 15th. Most anticipated game of E3 2021 and from each publisher and developer. This is by Saruman for Gamatsu. The Entertainment Software Association will host the official E3 2021 Awards Show on June 15th, the company announced. Editors from IGN, GameSpot, PC Gamer, and Games Radar will determine the winners from titles that will be showcased during the 4-day live E3 2021 broadcast. The media panel will focus on selecting the most anticipated game of E3 2021, as well as recognizing most anticipated titles from each participating publisher and developer. For this year's event, we are collaborating with editors at some of the world's leading video game media outlets to create the official E3 2021 awards show, recognizing the show's most anticipated games, said Entertainment Software Association President and CEO Stanley Pierre-Louis in a press release. The broadcast is going to be packed with exciting announcements and reveals, and celebrating innovative publishers and developers is an ideal way to close E3 2021. It's weird that they're going to have like reveals at the end. I'm like, well, what did they say for it at that point?
It's probably them wanting to compete with
Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, with the Game Awards, which in and of itself is also kind of like a marketing spectacle.
Yeah.
And
still fun though.
Yeah, it is still fun
to react to.
But I do wish they would focus a bit more on the award side of things. But
yeah, though you have to go to the other. It's the other award shows that less
the DICE
people watch
Awards
that those focus on. Yeah, like the DICE Awards and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is true because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I wish the industry had like the Oscars or the Emmys," and I'm like, the DICE Awards are right there. They're probably looking at us like, am I a joke to you?
Isn't there also like BAFTA?
Yeah, BAFTA has them too. And yeah, a lot of industries have like focused awards. Including video games. But I digress. Next up is Nintendo Direct E3 2021 and Nintendo Treehouse Live E3 2021 set for June 15th. This is by Sal Romano for Gematsu. Nintendo will host its E3 2021 Nintendo Direct on June 15th at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by Nintendo Treehouse Live E3 2021, the company announced. You will be able to watch it on Nintendo.com and Nintendo.co.jp, and I'm guessing also on YouTube, Twitch, what have you. The Nintendo Direct will feature roughly 40 minutes of information focused exclusively on Switch games, mainly releasing in 2021. Nintendo Treehouse Live will feature around 3 hours of deep dives on gameplay for a handful of Switch games. E3 2021 runs from June 12th to 15th. Big things popping, big things happening.
We're almost at our main topic. We're gonna get through this news story, then we'll talk about it more.
Stay on target. Next up is Bandai Namco, Capcom, and Square Enix E3 2021 presentation stated. This is by Jenni Lada for Siliconera. The ESA released a tentative schedule for E3. There aren't exact times for most presentations and events. However, the dates for the Bandai Namco, Capcom, and Square Enix E3 2021 presentations were among those revealed. Of those three companies, the Square Enix E3 2021 presentation will appear first. It will show up sometime on June 13th, 2021. The exact time wasn't announced. However, the ESA noted that the showcases that they kick off. The showcases that day kick off with a pre-show at 8:45 a.m. Pacific Time, 11:45 Eastern Time, followed by the Xbox Bethesda Games showcase at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Warner Brothers will also have games appearing that day. On June 14th, the Capcom E3 2021 presentation will appear. It and Freedom Games, Mythical Games, Razer, and Take-Two will also have showcases. In television, and Verizon will also show up.
In television.
For some reason. This day's event will kick off with the 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time pre-show. Finally, Bandai Namco E3 2021 presentation will be held on June 15, 2021. That's the same day as Nintendo's Direct and Treehouse Live. Eureka Games will also appear. That day's pre-show begins at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. E3 2021 will be held June 12th to 15th.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah, so that's a lot.
That's it for the news. But we're moving on to what we'd like to see at E3 2021 / Summer Games Fest / IGN Expo / whatever. Mostly E3.
The season.
Yeah, the summer game season.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the first one? Xbox, the first one we're going to focus on covering.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I want from Xbox is more info on Ghostwire Tokyo. Hopefully a release date on that.
Mm-hmm.
And some gameplay. A thing where they're like, we made a couple more, we're going to be making a number of titles, a number of titles backwards compatible because they weren't added to backwards compatibility yet, and they just show it'll include titles like this, and they just show an image with a bunch of game covers, and one is Blink's The Time Sweeper 2 Masters of Time and Space.
Yes, manifest that. Wish it into existence.
Yes. Otherwise, and then I'm hoping Xbox can make an announcement about some other Japan developed games just in general.
Mm-hmm.
But the big one is probably Tokyo Ghostwire, since that's the one we know exists.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm hoping for
Bring back Scalebound? No.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. What am I hoping for? I'm hoping for another hype trailer for Tales of Arise.
I'm wondering if we'll see, like, I wonder if we'll just see the same trailer at the Xbox and Bandai Namco things, or if we'll see, like, one thing at the Xbox thing and then an expanded thing during the Bandai Namco thing.
Probably.
Could be either.
It could be either, or it could be as they've done in previous years, where they just show the exact same trailer. And you're like,
true.
What's the point? Why?
Who didn't communicate?
But it's also the thing that not everyone watches all the press conferences. So let's say if you're only interested in Xbox as a brand and Bethesda as an aside, or not an aside, more like another big picture of their showcase, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna tune into this and not Bandai Namco, not Square Enix, not Nintendo, and then you're surprised with Tales of Arise. But if you're like us and watch everything, God help you, you're probably gonna be a bit disappointed.
I'm not watching the Koch Media presentation.
I'll keep an eye out.
I don't even know what that is.
I'll keep an eye out. But yeah,
we were trying to go in order. So Xbox.
Yeah,
we're
Xbox.
still on Xbox, right?
I'm hoping for a hype trailer for Tales of Arise. Backwards compatibility for Eternal Sonata. Because I know a lot of people are hoping for that. And a new exclusive JRPG for Xbox.
Oh, Eternal Sonata. I almost forgot that one. Yes, Eternal Sonata backwards compatibility.
Yeah. A new JRPG exclusive for Xbox.
Blue Dragon 2 a bit? Well, there is a Blue Dragon 2.
No,
for Nintendo DS.
Not Blue Dragon. I was about
you don't
to
want to
say
get the guy from Deep Purple to sing a new boss fight song?
No. Heavens forbid. I was going to say something else. Gosh, I lost my train of thought.
Lost Odyssey 2.
No, not that. Gosh. I'll probably think about it sooner or later. So it's best to move on.
I might have interrupted you with the Blue Dragon.
It's fine. Next up is Square Enix.
Is directly after the Xbox One. Final Fantasy Origin. Otherwise, I have no idea. Except, I would love a confirmation that World of Final Fantasy 2 is now in development.
I mean, you're the Mon Game ambassador, so I leave that one up to you. I mean, they've pretty much showed their whole hand at this point. It's been leaked
that we know of.
Reported that there will be a Guardians of the Galaxy game by Eidos Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. There will be a Final Fantasy spin-off named Final Fantasy Origin.
Yeah. Souls-like.
Babylon's Fall is making a reappearance.
Yes, Babylon's Fall. That's good.
I have no idea.
Is Babylon's Fall supposed to be like a kind of also a Souls-like though?
No.
Because I thought there was like gameplay of it a while back.
It's very Platinum Games.
Okay. So it's more stylish action.
It's very stylish action against kind of like these giant bosses.
All right, that sounds cool.
Wait, there was another RPG in development. That's not Babylon's Fall. Another one. Wait, I'm gonna look it up real quick. John might have written about it a long time ago for the site. Forspoken footage would also be great.
Forspoken, yes. Well, I remember on the Kind of Funny podcast Games Daily on Tuesday, Gary Whitta was hinting that he is involved with something E3 related.
Yeah.
And he is a writer on Forspoken, I believe.
Yeah. He's in the writer's room. Yeah.
Yes. So unless they announce a new Star Wars game or something, it's probably that.
Let's see, what else? The Quiet Man 2. No, just kidding. That's not what I want. Balan Wonderworld 2. It's also not what I want. Maybe a new Saga game, because they have mentioned that they're kind of working on a new one. I doubt they're gonna be doing a new Star Ocean anytime soon. Yeah, that's about it. New footage for Project Triangle Strategy would also be great, but that's about it.
I think they're gonna also just remind us, hey, Dragon Quest III remake is coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which but I don't mind seeing that trailer again.
I think that could be more of a sizzle reel, because
yeah, sizzle reel type of thing.
Dragon Quest already had their thing. So yeah, that's all I got. So who we got next?
After Square Enix is
wait, I have the list. The list says wait, where's Twitter?
Capcom is on the 14th.
Okay. So the checklist.
We don't know. We don't have a date for Bandai Namco yet. I don't think.
The checklist says Square Enix, future games. I don't think Warner Brothers is gonna put out a Japanese game.
No.
So Monday the 14th we have Capcom.
Unless they either do a Japan inspired game where they make a game set in the MonsterVerse universe, or they make a Rampage collection, which is the kaiju inspired thing.
Maybe.
But that's like the closest thing you're gonna get. Yeah. For Capcom.
What do you got?
Sengoku Basara, either a new game that they finally decide to do a worldwide release of again, or they finally localize Sengoku Basara 4 Sumeragi. And then they announce Monster Hunter Rise crossover DLC for both games. So they Monster Hunter armor for Sengoku Basara and new Sengoku Basara armor for Monster Hunter Rise. And this is because they had never announced it in the first place, and they would have announced it by now. But Monster Hunter Stories 1 Switch port. Switch and PC ports. Because Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin will be on Switch and PC. I don't think that's happening because I feel like they would have announced it by now. But it's kind of my pie in the sky type of thing.
Okay.
That's really all I have for Capcom. Oh, re-releases for, and this is always going to be this is probably always going to be a thing until it just happens or I give up. Re-releases for God Hand. Oh god, I lost it. Oh, Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles and Resident Evil Darkside Chronicles. Breath of Fire collection. Or that's not a re-release, but Breath of Fire collection and a Mega Man Battle Network collection. I think that last one has been rumored for a long time. And it's been a while since we've gotten any Mega Man stuff, right? The last thing we got was what, the Zero collection?
Yeah.
So I think it's about time.
I mean,
unless they do a re-release of Legends and Legends 2, which, well, also good. I don't think that's going to happen.
They could surprise us by saying Legends 3 is back in development.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen either.
Exclusively on Nintendo Switch.
I would also love a Battle Network 7.
Or a Battle Network collection on...
Well, I said Battle Network collection, but...
Oh, yeah.
But, like, also just a Battle Network 7.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know I don't remember how 6 ends. So I don't know if they could do that. Oh, also, isn't Mega Man X9 in development? And they haven't, like... We haven't heard anything about it since it was like teased a while back.
It could also just be kind of dead, like vaporware.
We'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Because remember, in each collection, they usually tease a new thing.
Yeah. I guess we'll see.
And it's gonna feel weird. It's one of those things where it's gonna feel weird for like if a new Battle Network game comes out, since we have like a handful of indie games that try to kind of take the mantle. Like
That is true.
Oh, what is it called? One Step from Eden.
Yeah.
And I forgot what the other one is called that's still in development, but there's another one too.
I hope. Well, my hopes for Capcom are Mega Man Legends 3 or a Mega Man Legends Classics Collection. Maybe a re-reveal of Deep Down.
That's not happening.
That's a pie in the sky one.
That thing is gone.
Now that Marvel has the rights back to Fantastic Four and X-Men, a new Marvel versus Capcom.
You really think they're gonna have a Marvel versus Capcom? No. 5. Well, I don't know if they put a number on it. Depends on how you feel about Infinite 2. Don't say that. Because I know there are rumors about the NetherRealm Marvel game. So do you really think they would announce 2 different Marvel?
The fighting game community
Marvel characters
would go nuts.
Because there are rumors that, or people are thinking that the NetherRealm Marvel fighting game may be Marvel versus DC. I took it one step further and I said, what if it's an Amalgam fighting game? So we get all the fused characters, the Amalgam comics, like Dark Claw, Batman, Wolverine.
You mean Amalgam?
Amalgam. I don't know how to pronounce. I've only seen it. I've only ever seen it.
Yeah.
Written. Yeah. I doubt.
I don't think that's likely because
that'd be really funny.
The rights involved would give any lawyer a headache. And it would.
You don't think a Marvel versus DC thing could happen?
It could happen, but if the comic books haven't been able to do a new crossover, then a video game crossover would also be unlikely, because to produce a video game costs a lot more than to produce a comic book. Then again,
we'll
the return
people might be really disappointed if it's just not disappointed, just like maybe not as hyped as they would be for a Marvel versus DC.
To finish my thought, the return on investment of making like such a ostentatious game of Marvel versus DC would be great enough for them to say, there is maybe a shot at this.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. But yeah, I hope to see Marvel vs. Capcom 4.
It's Marvel versus Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, Master of Terrascasi too.
No, don't say that.
Let's see.
Don't put that evil into the world.
What else from Capcom do I want to see?
Yeah, I don't have anything. I ran out of things. Dead Rising 5.
Yeah, no, Dead Rising is probably on ice for the time being. I'd like to see a new Breath of Fire RPG because
that's why I said a collection. Yeah, a lot of people seem to want that.
Capcom Beyond Monster Hunter Stories doesn't really have a traditional JRPG out there.
Yeah,
so Breath of Fire making a comeback would be cool. But yeah, that's all I got for Capcom.
Yeah, you're right. But I do wonder though, because that's a lot of RPG. Like, obviously this is just like speculation and stuff we want. So I don't know if they'd announce Breath of Fire and Mega Man Battle Network and what was the other one? Did we say another one?
Mega Man Legends, Battle Network.
Oh, no. That's not. I don't think Mega Man Legends is an RPG though.
Yes, it is.
It is.
It is.
I've never played it. I thought it was more of an adventure game.
It is an adventure RPG. Like
It's like action RPG. More
yeah,
like.
you traverse the open world. You get power ups. You upgrade your character. It's very story focused.
Okay. Again, this is why they should re-release it, because I've never played it.
I mean, it is on PSN at the moment. Now that they extended it.
I don't have anything to play that on.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to get a secondhand Vita or a PlayStation 3.
Yeah, I'm not doing
at this
that.
point.
I'm just gonna wait until see if they re-release it. No, I was gonna say I don't know if they'd release that many, but then I'm like, you know what? No, they don't have enough JRPGs. You're right.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah. And it could only be like Switch exclusive for now, because with regards to market penetration, Switch is the best platform at the moment.
Yeah.
With PlayStation 4 behind, though they might want to switch to PS5 soon. Unless
Project X Zone 3.
I think that's highly unlikely.
Project X Zone Remastered.
Because all the rights involved might be a headache. Because it's not only Capcom, it's also Bandai Namco and Nintendo. So
Tatsunoko versus Capcom Remaster.
Also unlikely because of the rights involved.
Don't stomp on my dreams.
I'm just trying to be realistic.
I would really love a re-release of the old Marvel vs. Capcom games from X-Men vs. Street Fighter through Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah, I mean, they got delisted a while back, so Phil Spencer saying, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is back on Xbox, on the Xbox Marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I would get it immediately.
Yeah, the whole crowd erupts in cheers. Yeah. He solves world peace. He gets the Nobel Prize. Next up,
I think that's it for Capcom. But yeah, there's so many Breath of Fire fans that I didn't realize, and a lot of JRPG fans want a new Breath of Fire or just a collection or just something.
Yeah, a crumb. We just want a crumb.
Just a crumb, please.
Let's see. Next up, we have Nintendo.
No, isn't Bandai Namco? Oh, well, I guess we don't know the time of Bandai Namco yet. Yeah. So yeah, Nintendo. New F-Zero, I want.
Pie in the Sky, okay. What else?
Don't. It doesn't have to be. I'll even take an F-Zero remastered. The GameCube one. Remastered the GameCube one. I'll be fine with that too.
A remaster is more likely than a new entry.
Than a brand new thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd test the waters first.
Yeah, exactly.
Skies of Arcadia. That's not Nintendo. Yeah, but I had to put it somewhere.
Well, Sega isn't there, so...
Yeah, Sega isn't there, and I don't see them doing that for Xbox. I mean, they could.
I mean,
because the Yakuza, they have all the Yakuza games over there.
It could come to backwards compatibility, because...
Yeah. Oh, no. It was never on Xbox. It can't come to backwards.
I want to say an updated port of the Sega Dreamcast version.
Yeah, that wouldn't be backwards compatibility. That would just be a port.
I know. But they'd probably say it's like a remaster.
I feel like it would be more likely to be at the Nintendo one, though.
Probably.
Just because but
Nintendo isn't that trigger happy for resuscitating old franchises, but then again, they
just remastered a bunch of stuff.
They just did Famicom Detective Club, so what do I know?
They did that. They did the Mario games for the anniversary. They're doing Skyward Sword.
They're probably doing Metroid.
Yeah, that has been rumored for so long that I don't even know anymore.
I think Metroid Prime 4 we'll see in earnest next year, because up until this year they still have been staffing up. So I don't think that's ready to show.
And they restarted development too.
Yeah. At best you could probably get a concept teaser. But but not a gameplay slice. Like maybe
So
a
there's
CG
that-
trailer.
Yeah. So there's that 2D Donkey Kong game coming out. Apparently.
Allegedly,
That's
yeah.
rumored. Allegedly.
Yeah.
I would like a new 3D Donkey Kong game.
It could be a whole blowout thing. Like, oh, you thought we leaked this, but in reality, we also have this. Like Donkey Kong 64 Part 2.
I can't wait until at E3 Nintendo announces for their Nintendo Online lineup for Super Nintendo and Nintendo games. They announce more random games that most people don't even know what they are.
Well, the random games might be disappointing for a lot of people, but it's also a rights issue because you need to relicense old properties.
Okay, but it's
and-
Nintendo. They can do that.
Sure, they could do that, but the asking price might be higher than Nintendo is willing to spend these days.
Paper Mario.
Yeah, it's
not just a Thousand Year Door remaster. A three game collection. It's Paper Mario 64, Thousand Year Door, and Color Splash. That's the Wii U one, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people didn't like Color Splash, but I was just thinking of a third game because I don't think Sticker Star or Paper Jam are gonna come to another system anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think. Yes, I think it's too early for Paper Mario now. With Origami King.
It's never too early for Paper Mario.
I mean, Origami King released just last year, so I
That's
do
true.
think it's too early.
But I think it could still. It'll
Yeah,
happen.
maybe
I think
near
it'll happen at some point.
maybe near the tail end of the Switch's life cycle. But for now, I think it's too early.
Imagine this:
Mhm.
Super Mario RPG HD remake.
Again, it's rights. You have to pay Square Enix, and Square Enix might ask.
They
for
seem to have a much better relationship now than they used to for a while.
Sure, there is that.
I think it's still possible. I don't know about this E3, but I think it's possible at some point.
It's possible, but I'd say temper expectations.
I totally forgot. New Kirby game. I mean, I know there's one rumored, but
Kirby
yeah,
would be
it's
cool.
about time for a new Kirby game. I love Kirby, but I was kind of disappointed by Star Allies because that was his first Switch outing, and Kirby just felt kind of slow. And Kirby's usually,
A bit
at least his movement speed
quicker.
is usually pretty fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked how it just like had all those characters from throughout Kirby history, but it's just it never felt like it was like met its full potential
Let's
as
see.
a Kirby game. Again, I don't think any Kirby game has ever been bad. Like even the worst Kirby games, I'm pretty sure most people think are okay.
Yeah. Let's see. What would I like to see? Obligatory Mother 3 mention
Mother 3.
mention.
Eternal Darkness. HD.
Yeah, no. I don't think there's a
A lot of
market
people
for
really-
Eternal Darkness anymore because the original creators tried to make a spiritual sequel and that's kind
Didn't
of
work.
vaporware at this
Oh,
point.
speaking of Kirby games, I would love a port of Kirby Air Ride.
That
Probably
would
not
be cool.
happening, but it would be cool.
Let's see.
Like all those, it's kind of just like all those old racing games, that like haven't been ported yet. Like Air Ride, F-Zero for GameCube, Sonic Riders,
Yeah.
or Sonic. Is that what it's called? Is it called something else? No, I think it's Sonic Riders.
Yeah, Sonic Riders.
Stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I can't think of anything else for Nintendo specifically. A new Yoshi game might be cool.
Yeah.
Although I don't think we're gonna see one of those for a little while.
Let's see. What else would I like to see? A new Golden Sun for Switch.
Yes, that.
Yeah. That.
Also Golden Sun, maybe some re-releases or like maybe like a remaster first of the first.
I think
because remember you got to remember the 2 Golden Sun games for Game Boy Advance were originally supposed to be one, right? And now you could just have them as one thing.
the thing is, it probably wouldn't fit the aspect ratio, so you'd have to do some rejiggering or put a frame.
I don't know,
around
remaster or remake, some kind of thing where they just make it into where they get to combine the 2 games into one, like originally intended.
I think there could be a collection on the way before a proper next installment comes to Switch. Because I think that world has so much potential, and Nintendo is kind of missing like a proper JRPG in their stable. And that would really be their chance to flex in that realm, and I'd like to see that.
Boktai 4. No, I'm just kidding.
Boktai would be great. Boktai would be great. Well, there was Lunar Nights.
Lunar Nights, yeah, that's what I was saying.
Spin-off, yeah.
I don't think that would happen.
Yeah, that's about
there
it.
Might be. You know what? I would like, because this is the only place we might get confirmation of this, unless Konami does their own thing later. Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel, or Psycho Rush Duel, or whatever the English title would be. Localization confirmation. I'm sure we're gonna get it eventually, because we usually get most of the console Yu-Gi-Oh games. Especially because I wonder if it has an English. I wonder if the Japanese version has an English text option, because the Japanese version of Link Evolution did. So I'm just wondering about that.
Do I have anything else from Nintendo I want to see? No, not really. Like, Nintendo is such
I would love to see Odyssey 2, because I love Super Mario Odyssey. But I don't think we're going to see that.
Like,
Breath of the Wild 2, we're probably going to see some stuff of.
Nintendo is such a wild draw. You can just
it's such a wild card,
what
yeah.
they're going to do.
I
you
really
can
want
the most out of them, and
also Zelda. Speaking of Zelda, Oracle of Ages / Season, or like
remake?
maybe they combine them and not be 2 versions, but remake it. I don't want it in the Link's Awakening style necessarily.
I don't think
it could be kind of like the Link's Awakening style, but like kind of more of its own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can kind of like build off of that style. Don't make it the exact same.
I don't think they would combine it because how the games work mechanically. Otherwise, they'd have to like create a whole new game from the bones of both those 2 games.
Well, remember there was originally going to be a third one.
Yeah, but
a third version.
Limitations and whatnot made that not possible. I do want one thing. Well, I don't necessarily need it, but a Mario game in a comic book pop art style, like full cell shaded, full screen tones, dynamic angles, like something very bold and colorful. I almost want to say more manga anime-esque, but I don't know how that would look, but something along those lines. But yeah, that's all for Nintendo. Next up, we have
Mario. No, I'm still not done.
Okay.
So, speaking of Mario Strikers is probably not going to happen, but I would love if a new one was. Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD come to Switch, which those were rumored to be coming, but we never heard anything about them. And they were when Skyward Sword Remaster was announced, they were like, they're still coming, they're just going to be announced later.
According to all the insiders, the other 2 games are still coming. They just want the focus kept on Skyward Sword for the moment.
Why?
because the perception.
Oh, it's the first time it's getting re-released too.
Yes, that, and the perception is that Skyward Sword is not as good as the other Zelda games, with people not liking the controls and whatnot. So if you have all the other two, like in total 3 games, and the other 2s are kind of outshining you, it's gonna be a bit difficult to sell that one title unless people are very vocal about it or nostalgic about it. It's not gonna be really reaching a lot of people. So it's marketing wise, it's not a bad strategy.
Oh, and then so with Metroid, Metroid Prime Hunters 2 or Federation Force Remastered. No, I'm joking about both of them. People would be very mad if Federation Force got a remaster. Bandai Namco, last but not least. We don't know the time for this. Tabe Oja localization announcement. I'm waiting to import. I'm going to import the game, but I'm going to wait until after E3 just in case. And please, Digimon Survive release date.
Yeah.
Also, there's a rumor. There is a rumor that we have to take with a grain of salt, a pretty big grain of salt, that they're going to announce a My Hero Academia game in the style of Dragon Ball FighterZ.
You mean Fighters?
Or Fighter, whatever. Game.
Allegedly, Arc System Works is working on it. It's something we've been speculating,
it with a big grain of salt,
and something we've been wishing for. I mean,
it would make sense for My Hero Academia to be the next one with how popular it is.
I think last year, or at least 2 years ago, I was like Twitter pitching it, like My Hero Academia by Arc System Works. But it just makes sense because the quirks are so varied and so. They lend themselves for varied gameplay, and they could make very unique situations. But you definitely also need to balance them properly, or else it would be too chaotic, and you might as well just have My Heroes 1 Justice 3. But
no, don't say that.
I mean, it's probably
gonna happen anyway. But
yeah, it's probably gonna happen.
As long as my boy Shinzo is in, if this My Hero Academia thing is real.
Yeah.
I would like to know more about the Digimon story game that was in development, but I don't know if they do 2 Digimon games. I mean, they could. It wouldn't be too confusing, given that the style, that Digimon Survive style is so different from any other Digimon game.
I'd rather them not do that because the perception is still. Oh, it has Mon in the title. It's trying to ape Pokemon, which you know already...
what? The perception for Digimon is a lot less like that than you would think.
Yeah, it's a lot less like that, but I don't want them to cannibalize their own sales by having 2 competing...
They could... I wouldn't mind if they just teased the new Digimon story game, just so we know it was still in development.
That's possible.
After the Digimon Survive release date. So we know that's still in development.
I would love the main focus to be Digimon Survive. Yes.
Yeah.
What else do I want to see?
I can't think of anything. I would love a Code Vein sequel tease.
There is that. It's also likely because the God Eater team is very quick, but they're kind of also helping on Scarlet Nexus. Or some of the staff is.
A new God Eater. I haven't played 3, and I actually never finished the other 2 that I had, just because they're very long and kind of grindy.
I mean,
like
you could
more repetitive than Monster Hunter in the way that it's not as fun.
I mean, Monster Hunter is also repetitive. It's how that repetition is presented to you.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do I want to see from Bandai Namco? It's like they have such good properties that could do so much. So I'd really like to see maybe a Naruto Rise of a Ninja 3.
It wasn't Rise of Ninja Ubisoft?
Yeah, but the rights probably reverted back to
or maybe like finally
Namco.
a Boruto.
The plot is too stretched out
Jump
and too
Force 2.
similar to Naruto. So, well, it's possible they keep selling it, so
it keeps
Who
getting
knows?
DLC.
yeah.
Jump Force Super Complete Mega Edition.
Oh please no. But yeah,
New JoJo fighting game.
yeah. Everyone keeps talking about it and wanting it and wishing for it. So Arc System Works, please, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think
Otherwise, I got nothing.
yeah, same.
Little Nightmares 3. No, I don't think that can happen because I think.
I don't think that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, the developers left and their rights belong
Uh-huh.
to Bandai Namco. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll surprise us with some brand new IPs. Hopefully.
Yeah,
I
fingers
think that's
crossed.
it because we're over our 2 hour, our
Yeah.
internal 2 hour time limit. So as always, stay safe. Wear a mask. Get vaccinated, if you can, and
we'll see you next time.
we'll see. Oh, wash your hands, and we will see you. Watch anime, play games, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all next time. Matane.
Bye.